good, everybody? I am back, and today I thought we would go over some tips and tricks, stuff that really helped me develop my backhand. Before we get into this video, I do want to say my backhand is nowhere near what I want it to be. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I can throw a 400-foot backhand because I simply cannot. But these 3 tips that I'm about to tell you are 3 tips that really helped me right away. Once I figured these out, my backhand distance and form just got 10 times better just by knowing these simple things. So without me over talking too much, let's get into these tips. I think the most crucial tip that I learned, and I believe I was watching a Simon Lizotte video, this tip right here improved my distance right off the bat. And that's just from the lower body and the stance. So when I started beginning throwing a backhand, what I would always do was I would come through the X step, but my right foot, my plant foot, would always be pretty much in a straight line, right at my target. That is not what you want to be doing. In fact, what I have learned is that when you plant straight forward, that you lose all the motion from the hips. And a lot about the backhand is coming from the lower body. So instead of planting straight in front of you, straight at your target, what you're going to want to do is off-center those feet a little bit from when you come through. So this is what I was doing when I first started. So I would come and it's straight out in front of me. I'd reach back, my plant foot in a straight line. That's not going to allow me to rotate my hips. Instead, you want to come and plant almost across the T-pad, not quite. You're lining up on the right side of the T-pad. You want that plant foot to be somewhere near the middle of that pad when you're planting. So you definitely want to offset the feet a little bit. And what this is going to do is going to give you more range of motion when you reach back. So now I can reach all the way back in a straight line and come through. I'm telling you guys, that one tip right there helped me improve my distance to my backhand right off the bat. Once I started putting that into my form, just learning and planting that foot, off-centering it with my back foot, it really helped and it gave me a lot more power. All right guys, tip number 2, after you get your feet set, you are going to want to learn how to get that reach back. Learning the reach back is very important because once you do learn the technique, you're going to be able to put that disc in the power pocket when you come across, and then that is going to put more spin on the disc and let that disc fly further. So a lot of the times I'll just be around the house, so I have a disc in my hand and I'm just sitting there pulling back the disc in one straight line. Sit with your feet planted, offset a little bit like you would a normal drive. Practice just reaching straight back and coming through. Now when you come through, you want to act like there's a wall there. So when you come through, you want to elbow that wall. If you act like there's a wall there, and when you come through, you're elbowing that wall, that's going to allow this disc to stay in that straight path all the way across instead of rounding your shot. So rounding is just kind of when you come back and you throw it like a yard frisbee or an ultimate frisbee maybe. That is not what you want to do. You want this disc to go straight back, elbow that wall, and then follow through. By doing this, keeping the disc close to your chest is going to allow you to put that disc in the power pocket, which is basically right here. You're coming through, and this is where you're going to release this disc. Your wrist breaks down slightly so that when you release, you get that snap. That snap is going to help that disc generate those spins that are going to allow it to fly further. So I have my feet offset like we talked about. I'm just going to pull this disc straight back, elbow that wall, my wrist breaks down a little bit, and then follow through. So really what I did a lot was standstills, slow run-ups. Once you implement a long, quick run-up, you're going to lose all focus in the actual form and you're just going to try to throw it as hard as you can. One thing that I have learned about disc golf is that being more smooth is way better than just trying your hardest. So do some standstills, do some field work. That's really going to benefit your game a lot. If you just go to the field, it's not always about just playing course after course after course. Go to that field, do some standstills, get your feet set, reach back, elbow that wall, and come through. Now, obviously, you want to put this motion all in one, but like when I'm practicing around the house, I really like to practice that movement and then coming through. All right, guys, those 2 tips, they're not very in-depth, but if you just start working on those, your backhand is going to get significantly better. I really do believe in that because my backhand was horrible. It's still not the best, but those 2 tips really, really helped my backhand gain the distance, get more power. All right, guys, that brings me to my 3rd and final tip, and that's just picking out a slower speed disc to learn the backhand drive. A lot of times we want to resort to going to a 11, 12 speed driver because those are the drivers. Those should be going the furthest. Well, in reality, those are just too much disc for people just starting out. Even I can't still throw some of those higher speed discs just because I haven't got that arm speed down yet. So when you're starting to throw the backhand, starting to learn the backhand, I suggest going with a fan favorite. Go with a mid-range. The Discraft Buzz is a really good one to start out. A 5-speed mid-range, 4-speed mid-range. Those are great discs to begin. So I have a few here that I would suggest. If the Buzz seems like it's still a little bit too much, you can go down to a little bit more understable, the Discraft Meteor. You should get a nice flight out of this, turning a little bit right and then coming back left, finishing left for a right-hand backhand player. And even if you want to go down a little bit further than that, you have a Discraft Page Pierce Soul, which is a great disc to start learning that backhand, especially if you have a really slow arm speed like most people do starting out. If you're telling yourself, no, I want to throw a fairway, I want to throw a driver, then I would suggest going to a fairway driver. Don't bump up to that driver just yet. Even if you really want to, I'd say just go with something like a T-Bird, an Innova T-Bird, a Speed 7 fairway driver that is going to be pretty understable, especially in the DX plastic, and it's going to beat in quick. I think you'll get plenty of glide out of like a T-Bird or even a Leopard 3. I have mine in Halo plastic. You can get yours, in any sort of plastic, but I think it'll have that little bit of understability that you're looking for to get that glide, especially if you have a lower arm speed. This last tip seems a little goofy and like, okay, I just want to get that driver, but I'm telling you guys, pick that slower speed disc, learn the backhand form, and then start progressively getting higher and higher speeds, pushing those discs further out. It's cold as shit. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys like the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you like the t-shirts I wear in my videos, head over to www.chaseandchains.shop where I have my merch. I also have a few discs up for sale right now, and I'll leave a link in the description so it's easy to get to. Lastly, go follow chaseandchains_ on Instagram where I post there daily and always keep you guys updated. I'll see you on the next one.